Hello everyone, I want to fix today the last one that is pending. It's just a small transition problem about audios, and I think if we can fix this one, which is almost done. I was just trying to fix this morning, but I didn't have time before the streaming, so I will just try to fix this one right now, and after that we can just test the demo, because I think everything has been done. And I was also trying yesterday and I have found maybe 2 or 3 of them, really small ones, and this is the only one that's missing. So I hope that fixing this one everything has been done, or I mean being fixed, and we can try again the world demo. So the thing that I'm trying to do is I have transition about the audio with the players sleeping. So it's just the sound is just fading out and then fading in again when you are just waking up. So the thing is that there is also another fade in and out when it's changing from day to night. So I was just trying to fix them to not be able to start the game, for example fading in or fading out when it's already this one in the process, and then this is something that is together. So for example you are sleeping, you start sleeping but you feel sleeping, so it's like a cycle for both things, fade in and after some time it's fade out. And for the transition about day and night, it's exactly the same, having a couple of seconds in the middle. So this is a cycle for both of them. So in case that you are sleeping already, this is one of the things that I want to do is, for example this one is let me delete all of those things, not needed. So this is a process that I'm doing here, which is just a few bunch of checks before. So fade in, wait for 2 seconds and then fade out for the sound. And this fade in and out is just a process here, managing a few things like for example sound of the river and some delays for the fade in and out, and then checking also the sound is working or not working, playing or not playing, mute already, for example is fading already, just ignore starting again to avoid just looping them or having some link to them. So I don't want to have nested requests for fading and out, so it's just the thing that I'm checking. And for example this changing from day and night, the one thing that I want to add is for example checking if the player is sleeping, which is kind of this process already, and then it will not ignore, because when it's finishing sleeping it will start again the sound. And then I don't need this one, it's just in case that you are not sleeping, just to force change the sound from day and night. So I will add here checking for player sleeping, which I have already. This is a variable, so it's just to have this one as variable. Let me just take the player here and we can see where the variable is. So this is event graph, and this is something I was doing for testing. So during the time you are sleeping, you should have state is sleeping, so you have here variable that is being sleeping or not during the process, just to know about this. And for example avoiding doing here, for example I have this sleeping, so avoiding doing the right cast for interactive objects, and for example no animations and things like that. So this is one of the variables that I have already, and what I want to do is here just taking the player, so take the brown and then cast to first person character, and after that we can take the sleeping, get is sleeping. So we have this one. So in case that this the player is sleeping, we just avoid this one and nothing is happening. So let's say only if this is false is going here. So this is the new check that I want to add for that. So let's move everything here, and this is one of the check-ins that I want to do. So we will move later the event. So this is the first check for this. The condition that I want to have is only if you are not sleeping, then it's possible to have this one being cycling but you are sleeping, just ignore, because the sleeping cycle will have in the end also the process like starting a new sound. So this is something that we don't need to do if this is happening during sleeping. Also, if you are fading already, ignore, and it's mute, also ignore. And then if you are inside, this mute is coming from fading and out. So when you start fading, you mute the sound, and then the process could be sleeping for a few seconds, and after that it's just the mute is removed, and then you can again start, for example, this fade out in that case, and this is the same like this one. So it's not a problem having 2 times this fade out, and in case that it's doing, it will be the second one will be just ignore, because it's something there in the process. So first thing we will check for one bed, so we are sleeping, and then see if only the bed is working, and then we will try to force to have the transition also during the time that they are sleeping, things like that. So first thing is just only sleeping, and according to the right time, the time of the day right now, I'm not expecting to have this transition again. So they're sleeping, there's no sound, and then just end, and you have the sound. Let's see again for the sound. No sound. And after a second you have this transition again coming back. So since working, if we are not messing with any other transition, so we have sound. So this is fine. What I'm trying to do right now is having, for example, starting at time of the day close to this transition. So this is let me check what's the time for. It's night, needs to be they need controller. Okay, so let me see the time for day and night, and the time is this 8:30. It's about minutes during the day, so this is you are checking from minutes to hours. You have 20 plus 30 minutes, so 20:30 will be the time for changing about day and night. So I will just try to sleep around 20. So when then just start sleeping during this time, this process, I will have the next one, so it will be, let's say, being just cancel. So let's try to sleep at the same time. Exactly, so you are trying to sleep at this time, and the process is something in the middle, so it's not being even called, it's just being cancelled, because I have here like cancelling in case that you are trying to do again this process when you are sleeping. So in that case it's here, and this is another one like print string, you are sleeping, player sleeping, and we will check this message being there, because just to be sure that this is ignore the process when you are just sleeping, so this transition is not being taken care. So let's see again. Okay, let's leave it. Okay, and then we will check here for the message that we are expecting to be. This is also the time, and I was expecting this one is being the transition is being there. Should be here, but it's not. So around 20:30 should be the time for oops, it's not this, can't delete this one. This is the one. This is a cast file, which is not failing as a player, but this one. So let me see what's happening when sleeping. Yeah, player sleeping already has seen this one. So I see here that player is sleeping, so it means avoiding this transition. So yeah, this is the case for avoiding the transition, and also if you are for any other reason in the middle of the process, it will be also being ignored, otherwise it will be working. So what I'm doing right now is trying to take this one as a process to see what is happening during this loop, not taking care about this. So let's say you play around this time, so you have sounds, and then we will speed that the time to move to the transition of the day and night. Okay, this phase has been cancelled, so this is not working, but it is going on this way, so this is fine. It's going here, this is fade out, I think it's going well, and this mute, and then try to go here, and this is still fighting. Probably do I need a bit more time to wait for that, which is 2 seconds here, and there's another second 3 here, so this one should wait at least 3.5, just to be sure that all the transitions for the another one is just playing well. So let's see again. Exactly, so it's just working well with this transition about the time being day and morning. We will try also about the morning, just to be sure, which is 300. So we will start the day around 306 5. So we will start around 550 and see what is happening. Initially it should be checking if this is night. So okay, so initially should be, if I'm not doing wrong, so let's see here. Yeah, since that first checking is not taking care about this, so let's just be sure that this time is being checked initially for so here we should have this one, this is night, should be already night, I think. So when the game starts, let's just add a string here, append this night, and then we will use this value to be sure that it's just checking about the night or not. So say it's true. Okay, so this is true, and what we have is this playing, which is probably coming before play ambient sound, which is coming here, which is probably coming before let's add small delay, like 1 second before the sound starts. So it should be tiny enough to be all the variables being checked already. Okay, so this night is true. If we try something like day, let me see. Okay, so now it's just starting fine. Okay, so this is starting at night and should be a transition between them. Yeah, you have the transition working also, and probably the only thing that I want to have is just during the transition trying to sleep to see what is happening with this messing everything. So let's see. this is coming, the time for okay, so okay, the problem is okay, in that case it's just I don't need to sleep because I'm also tired enough for sleeping, so I will just check this one, forcing to be able to sleep, too tired to sleep. So here I have like at least more than 5, or this is something like I'll need to be more than 5, which is just I will just force to be 0, so in any ways I can just sleep at the moment. So let's play again, take this one longer. Okay, this process start. And it works also. Or I could just take longer, in that case should be checking again. It's the same things here, so it's like when you start it's fine and then some delay and then you start again. Here I will just add the same check-ins for everything, so I will just duplicate all the check-ins in case that you want to start playing after some time. If you are in the middle of, for example, sleeping, just ignore because it will be in the end. If you are just doing transition or mute or things like that, you probably will do that. Well, the only thing is maybe mute because it will be or should be after this is false, so it's just coming here, and after that mute is true. So in case this mute is false, should be just being cancelled. This one, what is mute is true? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, otherwise you already wake up and then you don't need this one. So it will be only you are not fading and then you are not sleeping, and also the mute is still there, so in that case you can do that because you are not sleeping, the mute, not everything like that. So first thing I will do is just testing with no messing with sleeping. So let's try something like that. Okay, so it works. Let's try now messing with the sleeping at the same time. So this is something like that, and then this is one starting. You have the sounds also working, so since this transition is working fine for sleeping and both transitions at the same time. So this is something that I will just keep. I don't need this, it's just initial checking for day and night, which is working, and then here we will just change back what we has been doing, working this one, and finally I will just clean up a bit this thing, which is already done, and what I need is this one's here, and just remove all those string that is just for testing. So okay, I don't need this, and finally I don't need this one or that one. And probably, yeah, this one has been out. This is only the case for the repair. Okay, so that's all. I think that's my have another message here, not needed, and this one is a bit more. here, and that's the condition to be. I think I will do that. Okay, so I think that's fixing the problem that I had. So let's check, for example, now just the work day cycle, something as fast speed. So we're expecting to change around 8 and then change the game back around 6. Ah yeah, the problem is that I'm sleeping. What is happening here? Fade out. Try this one in case that you are. This is for trying to sleep. What's the problem? It's not stopping. It's probably maybe missing when you are forced to be sleeping. It's probably not changing the forced sleep, not changing the player to be sleeping. So let me check, comparing with the action internal sleep start, which should be changing this sleeping from the player. Action probably sleep here. It's just taking this internal sleep start. Oh, probably the thing is here's coming from, let me see when this one is being used. If it's sleeping is not, and then it's also here getting for that sleeping is not being updated. So, but I want to see also where is this one being used outside of this blueprint, because it can be being used by actions. So this is from the audio manager, and this is the set one that I set is sleeping. Okay, so this one is being done with this sleep start, but probably not with this forced sleep. Yeah, it's here also, why not? And this is the wall transition for that, is coming after that, I think. What the sound? This is the screen, and this is the audio after this one has been already set to being sleeping. So what is already happening? Let me try again. So around 8 it starts to be sleeping, and it takes a few seconds to do all this transition, but at the time it's just started to sleep, I think. No. So it should be just the mute for that. Okay, and after that I have the sound, which is fine, but since that is really trying to do that just in the middle of this process, so even just having all those check-ins, it's trying to take this one again So it's just going here and try to do this process again, which is fine, but then finding this that is already not there, because probably in the middle, during the time that you are waiting for those transitions, should be this fade in, so it's mute already, and then this one is trying to again to do this process just in the middle of the transition for the sound. That's the problem, that this one is just finishing in the end, this is fine, and this one is something in the middle trying again to do exactly the same that is doing here, but the opposite one. So this one for sleeping should be, I would like to have some condition to know about this, so in case that you are still delaying and then you are starting here sleeping, and then this fading should be going to set, so this one will fail, this one will fail, this one will fail also coming here. So for some reason it's just passing all those check-ins that shouldn't be. So let's see again. Maybe I will add a few messages for starting, transition, ending, things like that. So around 8. So the sound, and then you started sleeping, that should cut down the sound automatically. So let me see if the action is just, this is tuning for sleeping, which is fine, and this is the fade out event, which is coming also for that one. That's really strange, because this is the process starting and this is the one. I will just add start transition, and just notify when this transition has finished. And the only thing is just also I will have this start 14 sleeping. So I do that, so let's say here just to see if they are nested. Which is probably the problem here, trying to do both things at the same time. Just I think I can even start later on time, so we don't need to wait too long for that. So let's start around 7, and then let's move faster. Start transition, which is fine. Okay, so it starts the transition again in the middle of the process sleeping. I see if we check here the message that we have, it's also messing with the time, but anyway, it's just coming here during the process. So start transition for day and night, and then end the transition, so we are already at night, and then start 14 sleeping, which is fine, and should be just switch off the sound for that, and then start the transition again because it's already 5 in the morning. So in that case it should fail because you are sleeping, and in the end you are just stopping. So the problem seems to be here, when you are forced to be sleeping, it should switch off the sound again, which is just coming from this transition audio manager here, which is this one, which is checking for fading, which is not, and then just start all the process, which is mute, should be not also, in case that is coming, because I have here one delay until this fading is just switches off. So could be during this process that it takes like let me check, it takes 1 second here, then nothing here. This takes also 1 second, so there are 2 seconds, and there's 3. So let's say adding the same time here just for the delay to see if exactly the message is going on the right place or just being shown too early like this. But probably that's the problem, that this one is finishing after this sleeping time. Let's see again. So let's see. Okay, this is starting. So after sleeping is working, this is fine, but the thing is, yeah, it's coming here. So let's see now if they are really nested. It seems to be that they are. So let's see, starting during night. So this is start transition, which is fine, and then start sleeping, and we have end transition later. So that's the thing, that this for sleeping is just trying to do this fade in the middle of the process for this one. So this is trying to mute the sound, and after that this one is trying to play again the sound. So after that you are not stopping the sound, and then after some time you start again the transition, which is fine, but this is checking for sleeping and then ignoring. But the thing is, you are here activating the sound again in the middle of this one, and the problem is about those few sounds that we have here. So this is trying to activate the sound, let's say for a process here for 3 seconds, and during those 3 seconds you start sleeping. So in that case this one is just ignored, but this one is continuing the sound. After that you try to end the sleeping and try to switch on again, but in that case you have already on, so you don't have message to be deleting or things like that. So this process that is in the way to go here should be kind of cancelled during your start sleeping. So probably instead of just here fail, I would like to have some kind of delay. Good morning, Miguel. Trying to fix the last one, the last problem that I have with the sound is just sound transition between day and night, and then sleeping at the same time. And so because I was just testing yesterday the world demo, but in the shipping version with not the editor, and everything was working. I have only a couple of really small things with the UE for the text not showing that we was fixing, and this is one for the transition around day and night, and also sounds for sleeping or not sleeping. So just this one failed yesterday, and that's the reason why I'm not releasing right now already, or even yesterday, because I was just trying to do that. Was almost everything working, but not these small little things, and right now it's almost fixed. So I hope really that I can do, I don't know, in this streaming, I hope this is fixing, and today I will be just releasing the demo, because it's just everything is working. I was doing the world demo and just running from point to point, so I know everything that I need to be done, and I'm not just spending more time. It takes around 20 minutes, so I expect for you that you need to find how to do that, or where to go there, or talking with someone. So it would take probably 2 times more, or maybe not much, but at least 30 minutes. I hope it will take really short demo for 3 really small steps. So there's not much. I hope that I really want to finish this one. Well, not finish, but I mean release this more demo and receive some few feedback. Could be fine. So the thing is, how to cancel something in the middle. This one's starting, and that is the process for this one. And in case that you are trying to do that, should just override the sound for this process. Okay. So how was yesterday with your bags and all those equipment for gyms? Okay, this is one. How did you do that? Are you using this clothes modifier, or I don't know, just applying for example some displacement or things like that? Because, probably those modifiers are helping. I was using a few of them, applying for example noise for rocks and things like that. Yeah, I think that's because I was for example doing that for the bags here, for example this one. So I was using kind of a box, but I was just using those clothes modifiers, so it's just falling down a bit and then stopping when it's just the right time. So for that was almost the same, using force, wind and also clothes, so it works well. But for this one I think it was mostly just a box, or kind of with a lot of course edges, but just kind of this. So I'm not really modeling for things like that, but this was just falling down and then seems like clothes for that, you know? So I thought that probably maybe you can use kind of this to the bags, so having initial bag ready more or less model and then just apply these small clothes to have some, I don't know, random clothes, or just not being really boxed, but I don't know, up to you. So if you are just modeling everything, it's even better, but for me, not having so such skills, I'm just using a box and then use a lot of edges and then just applying this one and then reduce, polish later, things like that. So just to being helping with those modifiers, applying force, gravity and things like that. So what I need to do is just cancel this whole process. So how to do that? So this one is going in again and then slipping starts. So this one, well, just maybe try something. I was saying that those one I have been doing with let's see here, I was doing this one with this cloth modifier and then gravity and forces, wind and things like that. And you see, of course I was reducing later about the number of trees, because it's just 700 here, which is slot 1, and I will reduce later. As you can see, it's reducing to 600 and then 300 and probably even less, yeah, 100, and then it's just being closer is around 1 key, but it's really, the distance is not much. So yeah, so you can see here, for this is the biggest one and this is already, you are really close, it's 1000, or otherwise just 600 for that, and then even less, so fast, 300 and even less, 100 here, 100 trees. I'm just going closer, increase to the right resolution. So yeah, it's up to you, but I was doing this one with these clothes instead of just really modeling everything for those sacks. These are taking much faster, and also this one was the first one, which is not really nice, but anyway it's working, and this one is a bit better, and probably I need to do more of them, more variations about them in the future, but at the moment it's fine, having a couple of them is fine. Probably I will do, sometimes I'm doing new props when I'm just very tired about coding, for example. I'm planning to rest a bit, and then I do a few of them. As you know, it takes a few minutes, so sometimes not really like one day modeling, but for 30 minutes maybe, or no more than 1 hour, one props or a bunch of them, and then start again coding and things like that. So what I need to do is cancel this process in the middle. So this one is starting, and then sleep starts, which should be switch off the sound for that. So we'll have kind of pending. Okay, so I could just try to do that for delay for 1 second or 0.5. I will try 1 second to be sure, and then call again this fading out event, and should be this value again. For Blender you have 100 options of things that you can do, like combining modifiers and then applying those force and then close, and maybe even plugins for things like that, organic, or just sculpting. Well, you can do a lot of things, so just find your workflow and work on it, and that's all. So I have found a few things for me are helping, and I'm using this one, but as I say, I'm not really master of Blender. I'm not using every day, so yeah, probably you have a lot of more options and you can find some workflow could be even faster, or the final version is much better than mine, so this is fine. So let's see what is happening here again. Okay, so now it's working, and should be the sound well there. Well, you mean the terrain here? Or about the textures, or the model, or what part? About the textures, I have only one, well, 2 of them that I have found on internet, and I'm really planning to use this Quixel Megascan, but I have a lot of them, but it costs $29 per month, which my budget is 0, so I cannot afford this one at the moment, but I'm planning to do that in the future. So I can buy this one even for a month, downloading a few of them. So after that, if I have a bunch of them I can use, I will just repaint all the ground with a few of them, so it will be much nicer. And for this one I can just show you, I think this one is already working, so I will just delete this one. Let me show you a few things. So I will just remove a few layers for that, not this one, and then so this market, things like that, NPCs, resource, well, the river is fine, I think. So as you can see, it's not, oh, what is on here? Need to be here. No, not selected at the two. Well, that's fine, it's just here. As you can see, the terrain is playing only in the place for the town. The rest is not there. Let me even remove the fog here so it's easier to see. This is the only part that is really playing. I mean, the one with the houses, but the rest of them is just not just round. You can see only the small part in the houses is fine, but you are right, that could be nicer to have a town with a bit different things like that. So probably the next town I will do much nicer. I was also starting with this one, which is not really nice, but I will just start next one with something nicer, and also the oops, I'm missing things here. More detail about the terrain could be fine. Also the river could be a bit different, but yeah, I think you're right, and I would like to have something. Well, paths, you have paths round. I mean, not everything, but yeah, rabbits need to be a bit of this. There are a lot of props, but not much. Well, grass, you mean house walls? Or because think about a real town that, for example, the trees. In fact, we have trees here, which is being nicer and so on. But I think that being in a town, you don't have all those trees. I mean, they are cutting everything that is all around. But anyway, just to be something nicer, I have some of them just in front of you. But in fact, I think that they will just cutting everything around, for example, for doing all those houses. And also you have more space without trees for planting or things like that. So this is one of the things that is not very realistic, having a lot of trees around the houses, when in fact you should have just plenty of them, not much grass, and also being safe about fire also at this time. So just cutting down all around could be safer for firings, for example, but they were not having. And grass about houses, I think the same. They are just walking around all the time, and they're just having, for example, animals around. I don't think that they have much grass close to the houses. In fact, they have. I mean, if you check here for let me see everything. Okay, if you check here, you have grass here, you have grass all around. You can see there's grass here. This is just inside of the houses, let's say. This is also grass. Let me check this one. Yeah, but the thing is, this is not a Witcher, and this is not 150 million of budget, 150 million, and I'm telling you that I cannot afford paying $29, So yeah, they have a guy doing all those details and everything. I'm for example missing at the time bosses, which I don't have, and I would like to have them, Bushes I don't have. But as you can see, there are some grass, but it's outside of the houses, more or less. So it's not really in the houses. If you go to the path, that you have all around. You have here also. I can put more, but you have already. The thing is, they have a few different grass. For example, I have only one. They have bushes here. I don't have any of them. They have few trees different. For example, without leaves that you have in front, but I don't have yet, of course. So they have a lot of resource vegetation, different ones that I don't have. And for example, look at the ground. They have different textures. I have only one. Also, this is one of the problems that I need to work more on those details to be much nicer, because in the end you have, look at this, the forest is not really looking as a forest, it's just a few trees, because you don't have any variation about the grass, just only about the size. Probably you don't have, for example, flowers. I was working on that, they have something here with these few variations, but you don't have different grass, you don't have different trees. I mean, you don't have a lot of variation about vegetation, so in the end you have only two different models, and it's not looking really nice, But the main problem is not having enough variation, and you have only one grass and one tree, so it's not much that you can do that. And look, I have this one here, for example. I have here grass, and I have here a few things. I have grass here also. Not everything all around, but I mean, you have grass here around the trail, and even here I have grass and trails. Let me see. all around you have grass. The problem is, of course, it's only one grass, one color, one size, you know, which seems just a patch and not really grass around. That's the one the problem. You check, for example, this picture, you have something longer, something smaller, different colors, you have some bruise around, you know, bushes, and you have also different trees. You can see on in the distance different trees. I have only one, so that's the problem, that all of them, even my trees are really bad, because I need to change all of them. I was just doing something fast with a free tool, and they are not looking really well, so I need to change all of them. Of course, you can pay for this speed tree, but I don't have any money, so just using something free from internet. I did them. I mean, I'm not taking trees from internet. I was doing, but the tool is 3it, which is a free tool, maybe 10 years ago, maybe more. So I was just fixing a lot of things on Blender already. So you can see that the problem is only one grass, only one color, only one size. And for them they have a few different things. For example, they have even leaves. As you can see, I don't have any single detail for things like that. So yeah, one of the things that I'm missing is more variation about vegetation, foliage, trees and everything. This is one of the things. Another one is, I say, the textures for the ground. So there's only one texture. Well, in fact there are two. This is this one and this is this one. There are no more variation between them. I was just painting with them, but there's not more variation. So I was just thinking about having, as they have, for example, a few different ground textures that you can use, and also, for example, they have this path with some detail, you know, elevation on the right and left and so on. I have mine completely plain, but I was also thinking about the detail of the terrain. I don't have much trees. To reduce the number of polys or the terrain, I was just taking this one to something bigger. So in that case, it's just reducing a lot, not having some kind of details. But I can, let's say, try something, for example, here, to see how much detail do I have for that. So sculpt this one. I could do that, but in that case, you can see so easy that the trees are not maybe having detail enough to have nice detail. And let's try also this smooth here. But yeah, I can add a few details for that. Let me see something bigger. Yeah, that's also the problem with the terrain, is not having enough detail for something nice, for example. But yeah, I could just work much more on the terrain, having more details, not something so plain, and also more textures, and of course much more variation about the vegetation, which is something that I'm really missing. I'm missing also, for example, this volumetric fog that I'm not using. I'm using exponential fog and probably all the particles for example, having smoke on houses or some areas that I don't have also already. And for example, for those things being just something dirty, I'm using here decals for that. And for example, here that you can some kind of being wet, I'm using just different specular value for exactly the same texture. So in the end, it's just one texture, no? Okay, this is something that I think for that I need another texture, because if I cannot paint, let's say, colors and textures, so I need to create a new texture, which could be just a new material, which is not really not a problem. But I mean, I can use this one, but I would like to have another texture with another color, so I can just, let's say, create the same one here, but with something darker, as the same that I was doing with this wet. So there's something that I can do right now. As you can see here, this is just wet, so I was just changing this one, and I could use here, for example, as you say, something in the middle is just a bit dirty or just darker for the ground here. In that case, I can use exactly the same texture, because I don't have much. So I was expecting to have another texture, so you can just do that. In that case, for this picture, just a random picture. Here is something because it's wet. So you have here mood, which is wet, and probably is a bit down. So you can see that it's a bit different colors over that. They are using probably different specular and also probably different texture. So I could use the same one, which is not a bad idea. Let me know, I could try it right now, being honest. Let's try this one. Materials, and the one that I have is mood. Oh no, I'm using already the material, I think. To try, we can try right now to see how this one's improving. So yeah, exactly. So this is one of them that I'm using. Okay, no problem. I'm doing just right now this. So let me see the textures that we are using. I will add anyone here. Smooth wet, and I will add anyone. Will be mod dirt in that case, and I will use the same values for all of them. This is fine. And what I need to use is for mood is this one. Probably I will add some displacement for something dirty, but anyway, let me just try this one. So this is going to specular, this one going here, this one is also going here, and then it's mood grass, and this is mood wet, and I think 0 is also going for this one, or probably another value, something. Yeah, I think I could use another constant. Let me see, something like 0.25, and this is going to the new one, this little bit dirt. So we have already different values for the specular for every texture, and then we need to do exactly the same here for that. And this is the one going to the roughness, the 0, this one here, this one here, also for that, and probably it's also here, this one. We'll see now, maybe we need to change those values, but anyway. So this is normal, and I will use exactly the same, so this one is here. And this is also for mood wet, and of course this is for this one also. This one coming to grass, and there's another one coming to mood grass. So we have already a new layer for this one that probably I will use later, maybe here in the dirt, in the base color map. Maybe using something. So what I need to do is just multiplying this one for, or maybe for a few numbers. So oops, okay, so in case that this is this one for, and I will probably multiply for value, multiply for something smaller, 75, and this one will be the dirt one will be of course darker. It's going out very well. For say this, it takes some time to render everything. Let's try to close things here. There's a lot of things being open. Okay, so this one was already working. We don't need this. Let's wait a bit until those things are read down. This one is working already, so we'll just remove this, and then interesting like this. That's the thing. I will just take this one as a note for saying here, keeping here to know that this one is something pending. So okay, let's wait until the shaders are finished. Okay, I was just adding this new one and then changing a few values for specular and then face color and things like that. So the shaders are just compiling. My computer is not so fast compiling, but we have already this new texture there that we can try. When everything has finished, we can paint this one, and also having this option we can add later, for example, some dirt from another texture that I have for decals and things like that. So we can just have a new texture that is a bit dirty and a bit darker, even with the same texture. So in the future, if I have another texture, I will just replace this one and then we will try to paint. So probably the shader for this terrain will be more complex, but it's fine. At the moment I think I still can say the complexity. All the terrain is fine at the moment. Not completely green, but this is one that's coming. So it will be something, well, more variation. This is true, and also the picture that was passing me is of course so far from me. I mean, I cannot do the same world, of course, but about the kind of reference and some ideas is quite good. You know, that's just an example that what can be done and what things I can just try to apply or try to fix this one also. Probably I cannot play because I didn't play this The Witcher. I was just watching videos only because probably it runs like 5 frames per second in my computer, things like that. So I didn't try this. So they have too much details and trees and everything like that I cannot play with my computer. So that's the reason that my game playing in my computer need to be really well, not for mobiles but almost. Okay, this is just compiling shaders. So until this is not finished, we cannot paint anything. See, we are already missing. So you can see here I'm using decals for some variations on the terrain. Not really painting the terrain, but just using decals for. Oh, come on, it's just the last one. Oh no, it's also here. Compiling the shader, all the variations that I have with this. Almost there. Yeah, of course there are hundreds of things I need to do, as I say, for example, all the props for the market, having things, different NPCs, also about the sound, a lot of different ambient sounds for box, doors, footsteps and many other things like that. So let's paint the terrain, painting, and I will use this probably again. Probably I need to restart the editor to have this this material here because I don't have this, and I'm afraid that applying again this one to the terrain I'm losing what I was painting probably, or maybe not. So let me just, I think I will just restart the, oops, need to be here to finish the one. Oops, as you can see it's really going slow. Probably 5 frames per second, things like that. I think we'll just restart the editor because I'm missing the texture that I have, or probably it's this one, I don't know. It's going too slow also, so my CPU, my RAM, just not possible to have anything here. And again compiling shaders, so that's kind of place just touching. But anyway, the problem with the sound that I have is already fixed, so there is nothing more to do for the demo. I hope just testing. I can test later just to see if something is missing, because I don't want also to have everything there on streamings that you can see everything, and we can just try to improve things. When it is finished, I'm just starting. It's really slow. Just try to do things like that. I'm just watching the picture to see the variations for what can I do, what can I add there. For example, the houses, I really need to improve them. But just something fast, but I really need to improve them a lot, like changing all the picture here, just in case, changing all the walls and sticks that they have, probably also improving all the roofs and things like that. It's really so simple. And for example, for the picture here, what I'm trying to do is this kind of texture that we can have like wet and dirt. Let me see. Well, about the bump, this is the normal maps I do already with X normal in case that I need something, and yeah, it's almost the same. So X normal, and you change the normals for that, and you have a plugin even for Photoshop also for free. So the problem is not about the normals. In fact, those terrain that I'm using is from this Quixel Megascan, and they are providing you with all the normal map, ambient occlusion and everything, so you don't really need to do that for that. But some textures that I was just taking from yeah, you have a plugin for Photoshop, so you just open Photoshop, use this plugin, and create all the normal maps for the picture that you have in that moment on Photoshop, so you don't really need to do something strange. And then you can save the normal map, the diffused base color in that case, or for example ambient occlusion if you have, things like that. So yeah, X normal allows you to do that. Yeah. You don't need to for example, as I said, like baking from Blender, but yeah, you have. So I was using the X normal just for the texture, which is almost the same, you know. Let's restart again the editor. So yeah, I don't have at the moment, I don't have any problem. And I was saying also that the textures for the terrain, the ground, they provide already all those maps. So yeah, you don't need to really do them because they are scanning or things like that. So they take all those information from the scanning picture and then working on base color, diffuse and things like that. But for example, I'm taking some texture from texture.com, which is for free, and they are just providing only GPG picture, which is just not very good, and this is one key, so not very good at all. And after that I need to create my normals and probably ambient occlusion and things like that. So I'm using X normal plugin to that, and I have all my normals from those pictures that are not really so good because they are GPG. But for the terrain, one of the pictures is from Quixel Megascan as free asset for testing, and another one that's found on internet I was creating from GPG also my normal maps, which is bad, but I know I'm planning to just replace in the future and having much more professional textures. So at the moment it's fine, at least to have something, but definitely it's not well just using this one. So I'm not creating or planning to create the normal maps for the terrain. They provide already all those PBR material, and probably I will also buy a few textures for other sites that you have also for texturing, and they provide all the maps. But at the moment, just for not for testing, but at least start doing things. And you can see I'm just using something from internet for free, and then we'll see later because they don't have really expensive. For example, for textures you have what's also another site that is paid, but it's good to have also those textures. Let me see. If I can find this, where I have polygon. Yes, this one is another site for, well, because we are doing, I'm doing on streaming, and for example people like you is helping me with some saying how to do that, what to do that, or people is helping me with some bugs that I'm doing during the editor, but I'm doing completely alone. I mean, nobody was touching this one, nothing. Nobody is just having even the project or the Blender files, nothing. But it's just like, I'm doing alone and not taking care about you and what they're saying, it's not exactly the same, you know? So, and in the end, for example, as I say, this demo that people is trying, the thing is, they say what they like and what not, and I will not change everything, of course, but I mean, there is something that I will change, people is liking this one or not, or the mechanics is fine, or this is boring, things like that. So it's kind of, we are doing the game together, you know, but all the technical part I'm doing completely alone. All the textures and these normal maps and everything, so yeah. We say we when we are doing the streamings, you know. Yeah. So you have a few sites, for example this one, this is a Spain, but they have good textures that I hope in the future they can buy them, or some of them, and then improve just the textures. So I'm not really spending a lot of time on textures because I'm planning to replace them and improve them in the future. Yeah, exactly. Well, the community, and I say the same, for example, in the chat, things like that we are doing or we have been doing, because it's just about Twitch. Yeah. But I never say that we are planning to change something or we are planning to model, because it's not we. And I say like I'm planning to do, you know. Okay, so should be my textures there already. If I'm trying to paint, let's wait a bit because still the hard drive is trying to read all the textures. So wait a bit. Still not there. Let me see. This is painting again. Okay. Do I have this one already? Okay, I have this. But wait, if not, it's just going really slow. One by one, you can see the text one by one, you know? You can count one by one from 600 or things like that. Okay, so this is final, and then we can already paint here to see what is happening with this texture. Yeah, okay, yeah. This is create. I want to create this one, so I'll just stupid. Okay, create normal one. Yes, here, and by the way, I will use already the mode for this one. Okay, so come on, what are you doing, man? Again. I will just try to paint, but this is so bad. I'm going too slow. So I will replace a lot of textures in the future, and I will improve all the models and things like that, but I need to have at least some gameplay and things ready on the place, so I can improve a lot of things. And also this one, this was the first town that I was doing, and I hope that I was just learning, of course, doing a lot of things, and then the next town that I'm doing with the same assets, things like that will be completely different. So at the moment it's just kind of this. Let's paint, of course, new shaders compiling. Come on, guy, it's ready. So slow. This process is really hard to do, and this is my CPU also here. It's not possible to do more, so that's why it's going too slow. So there are some kind of things that I'm not doing during streaming because they're really slow. So you can see here that I have this texture already being a bit dirty, as you can see, already paint, and I can change for some kind of, for example, the specular or things like that. I could just change, for example, for that. And I think I would like to have the same specular for where's my terrain, the same as mode probably. So in that case, this is the specular. I need to be this one because I don't want to use another value. So for both of them I will have this one. And what more? And now it's again compiling shaders. Anyway, yeah, I cannot set this one. Okay, so I was also planning to merge this one with some. Here I will need this blend layer, probably blend layer with some decal that is just dirty, so it will be adding some variation about this dirt, not always being just one color. By the way, the thing is we have already this color when the sets are finishing. Okay, so you can see here about also about the specular for this dirty thing, which is probably too much, paint dirty. Anyway, you can just paint with things and you can have some variation about the terrain. Probably it's too dark, probably, so it need to be a bit more not so dark, but it's just playing around with the numbers. So this is probably too dark. Probably we will need to do something different during streaming because compiling 1000 shaders again for one single change all the time. That's why people is using all the time those instance materials that you can just change a few parameters and when you like them then change the real material. But yeah, that's just I'm kind of lazy not applying this one again, so yeah, it's fine for that. Yeah, it's too much, really, so slow. And if I'm doing that, I think it's just stopping. Oh, no, stopping is fine. So let me see again the picture that we were just talking about, what can be improved also here. And things are just different vegetation, smaller also because mine is big, so I cannot use in the borders of the tracks, trails, for example, and a few things like I have small pebbles already that I did. We are missing this one also, and bushes, of course, that I need to work on it. I was just spending a few time, but I really don't like what I was just achieving and then just leaving for a time. That is just too much, spending time on it. Too slow, really, for this small change. I will not touch game during the streaming, probably later or something when watching videos. But yeah, need to introduce more variation about the ground, more variation about vegetation, more variation about everything. Otherwise it's just so repetitive everything. For example, the axes or tables or things like that. I have 4 models and they are repeating all the time. So I should be having a few more things to just everything the same. the rocks are one model. There is only one model of rocks, can you see? This is the same rock all the time, and the smaller one is also the same one all the time, just rotating and things like that, but they are only one model of rocks. So yeah, I need to work with on it. And pebbles are also only one model, the same one, the same and rocks. Anyway, it just looks fine at the moment. And this one just being compiling. So probably will be more complex about the terrain texture, but it's fine. So we have few of things here, and also this one that was just painting. Yeah, it's not so dark here, which is fine. And I would like to merge with this one, with the decal in some way, so it can be more dirty and more variations about this. It is also wet. Where's the sun? You can see it's also wet. Yeah, you should receive money for talking with people, it's fine, but if not, you are just losing your time. I was just receiving a few calls also yesterday afternoon. I was almost wasting all my afternoon. I didn't do anything, and I was just a bit late trying to fix the things. And for example, this one with the audio I didn't fix on time because just people was just calling or something. Yeah. But anyway, you need to have some kind of social life from time to time. Okay, so finally it's almost done. Almost done. And what about the sound for this one? Should be the same as mod. Yeah, the set is still not there. Yeah, the same sound. What's happening when you play it? Missing shaders or what is this? Why the light is changing? Okay. Now it's fine. Yeah, the same sound for this patch, so it's fine. So it could introduce some variation of the terrain, and as I say, I would like to merge with this one. For that I need another align texture, and I will use another texture object that will be my decal. I don't remember this decal. Decal dirt. I think this one. Let me check for that. But I think so. So this is decal, and then the details. I don't need to work details, and if I'm just opening this one, should be the texture. Yeah, that's the decal dirt. Okay, that's the same. So this is the texture. The size of this one will be. I don't need this one because I can just use this number and should be converted to this one. Where's this? I think I have found this one later, so I was doing not properly before, but yeah, learning process. So I can just remove this one, and also for that one is here. And where is this one going? To here. Okay. What I need here is just a number. Probably will be, I don't know, something smaller. Texture size. Why is not V3? This I'm not connecting anything at the moment, I think. Hi Ragnos, let me read. What do you think about all the options instant and maybe change the illumination setting for improved performance? Yeah, one thing is just reducing the visibility of the trees is already here, so at some distance they're just being reduced, but also I have billboards. Let me show you what is this detail lining. No, sorry. Lining only. So you can see the billboards being really, the distance is not much, so there's no big problem about the, as you can see they move quite fast to the billboard, as you can see here. So it's just coming quite fast. The problem is about the orientation of this one. That's fine. So you can see that is just changing to billboard quite fast and really close to this one. When I'm just, I don't know, 20 meters far from the tree, it's just changing to billboard. So most of them are just billboard all the time. So I have like 3, 4, or for example here you can see only one tree right now being painted as a tree. The rest is just billboard all around. So I don't have any tree. I have another one here. The rest are just 24 trees, I think. So there's nothing really for the trees. This is one of the things. And about illumination or setting, you mean for the trees? They don't have shade. They don't have shadow at this distance. So being billboard is just painting out of nothing. All of them are of course like vegetation. So there are clusters and hierarchical lots and things like that. So let me show you also this one. My slots. As you can see that all of them are really far from them, so it's just really close to this one, and then start being some numbers. After that it's so fast that they are already quite far for the distance. So this is one of the things that is not nice trees, but I mean it's just improving a lot for the performance having those so far. And if you go a bit far, they'll just disappear quite easy. So something from the distance you have all the time disappearing. You don't have much. As you can see, my world map is 250 meters and then 150 sides. So we are right now around probably 100 meters. So after 100 meters the trees are just disappearing, which is not really a lot, but I mean they are disappearing all the time. As you see, some of them you cannot see because it's just about the orientation of the camera, but I mean you can see most of them disappearing all the time. So here, just on the opposite side of the street, you don't have already trees, need to be there closer to have this one. So the trees is not much that I can do to improve them. I mean I can improve the trees, but not about the performance of the trees because they are really billboards all the time. So it's not much that I can do really already with this one. So they are, all of them are billboard, and of course using the shader to be camera oriented all the time. So if you just try to do, for example, this one, oh, I cannot just take this one, but anyway, if could be no. Okay, let's move to this one. So if I'm just doing something like rotating the camera, for you can see that they are just pointing to all the time about the player, So the billboard is just working with the plane and seems to be working fine for trees, but they are not so nice. And I was using all those this project for imposters. That's taking the normal map and everything, which is probably wrong because I don't like much all those normals and colors that they have as billboard, but okay, I will just improve later. But about performance, there's not much more to do because all of them are billboard most of the time. So I'm not really painting trees, just when you are really close to them. And about lighting, for example, here having this fog is fine. If you don't have this fog, you can see how bad they are, because they are just billboards, you know. So this is quite bad. Trees, I mean, and this fog is just helping that they really look like trees. So yeah, having here the fog seems fine, you know. A different color. I was also introducing a different colors for instance, and then it works fine, but seems fine, but in fact they are just billboards all the time and not really well done. And then just using also this, as you can see, for example, this tree is just using this detailed lots, so it's just much better the transition between lots, because they are also not matching very well. So yeah, at least not popping out all the time, but yeah, it's fine. Disable objects, you mean cool distance, for example, because I have few with lots and not all of them, and after some distance they just disappear. And I was also organizing things for example, here I have a few layers, and one of them is interiors. So when you are far from, let's say, from any house, all the interiors are removed, the level is completely removed. So because you don't have any information about interiors and you cannot see any furniture inside, so all the interiors are being deleted completely if you are a bit far from, I don't know, from the town. Just living, for example, being here, if you walk here, it's just far enough to not be in the box close to them, so the interiors are being deleted. And then you don't have much, really a lot of them. The main problem is I have a laptop and not really powerful, so because I'm just working to improve all the performance and everything, it's just for my computer to have like 30 frames per second, because people was reporting more than 150, you know. So yeah, it's not a real problem for performance for people, but for me 30 is fine, 20 could be fine. I have less than 10 is almost impossible to work. So this is what I'm trying to do, reducing everything. And for example, the river is just having also different materials, and also just changing all the textures that you can see. It's a bit popping, but because we are so high, just in front is not, as you can see here. So it's just changing to another texture, which is much easier to say there, so the complexity is lower. So what is this? You can see the river is complex core, but if you are just going far, this just reducing this one, so I don't have in fact a lot of things like that. Like the river was just reducing, most of them are not complex at all. And then yeah, that's a few distances, just reducing everything reducing, so just to be under the budget, and this is working fine. So I say that this is working fine for me, and for people really reporting like 150 maintained all the time, even during the forest or things like that. I was improving also the grass with also having billboards, the distance, and for example the distance for all those pebbles. Let me show you also here. You can see this is red, and only if you are just over this one in that case they are white, otherwise it's just red. And you can see that they are really appearing and, let's say, disappearing quite fast also, so you don't have much things, as you can see. Also the terrain, I was just duplicating the lot distance, I mean reducing 2 times less, so this is just moving to the next lot 2 times faster than usual, so even reducing the loss of the terrain. Here you can see, and the pebbles are coming just in front of you, but the rest is not, so not really much things to see. So I was just reducing, for example, all about the stones here, all the assets, but for example also the stones are all those lots transitions, so just a few steps far, and then it's like 3 lots variation already, and they have a lot of them being far. You can see a lot of them. Or for example the grass, this is the first one, but the second one is also billboard, and then you can see the grass is really not far from you, the second one, so just coming, really the distance is really reduced, and if you are just checking something far, you can see there is no grass here at all, it's just just appearing just in front of you, and also about the first lot and second lot is really not far. No, I don't think I can even reduce more. So going like that is more or less is fine, but this is just, you know, appearing all the time, popping all the time, but this is just the only way to reduce this one. So you can see here just appearing everything in front of you, but in the end it seems fine because the thing is you are here, so you cannot see from the distance that we are just checking right now, you know. So here is fine, you can see the distance, but from this point it's almost impossible to find this difference from them, you can see. So that's the thing that is working fine. And about lighting, things like that, it's just kind of visuals being nicer or not. I mean, it's not reducing much about performance. For example, changing the lighting. I mean, of course I have a stationary light. The only one dynamic light is the sun, but the skylight is stationary, and there are no more lights dynamic in all the level. So everything is stationary or nothing, or no lights at all. I don't have any static light. And for example, about the windows and doors that they have lights inside, they are switched on and off when you are leaving the house. So they are switched off all the time. So right now we have only two lights. That is, one of them is the sun, and the other one is the skylight. So there's nothing more in the level at the moment. So this directional light, as you can see here, this is the only one being dynamic because it's the sun, so movable, and the rest is just skylight. And there are no more lights in the game. So if I'm just changing this one for the skylight here, I will just switch off, so affecting word is not, and then this directional light, that's all. There are no more lights for the game. So yeah, I cannot do less than one light. So yeah, I was working a lot to improve, as I say, and most of the people are not really concerning about the performance, but it's just all about me. So that's the only reason I'm just working on it and trying to fix this one. Yeah, of course I can always try to improve a few things, but yeah, there's not much margin because I was already almost applying everything that can be done. I can just reduce, of course, the cool distance. I could reduce, for example, the number of trees. I can delete a few of them, reduce the distance already, and not much, because even lot 0 is around 1 key every tree, so not really a lot, and it's not possible to do even less, I don't think. Even like that, it's already not nice at all. So yeah, probably in the future, if I have some money, I will try this speed tree that I have nice trees, and for all those loads, billboards and everything. But at the moment, this is what I have. Not much wood, but yeah, the game is far from being finished. So yeah, for all the people here, forgot always like try all the links and things like that. And also just a reminder, I will just finish this week. I will release the demo probably tomorrow, because I have been fixing all the things. I don't have nothing more to fix at the moment, so I will just release really short demo, so people can try kind of technical demo for performance, more or less, on some kind of mechanics and things like that. Even I'm missing a lot of things, or missing even buildings around. So the first mission is really small, and there is not much thing to do, but just kind of testing for the performance and mechanics. So if you want to try the demo, you want to try the demo, join Discord channel, and I will create an account for you, because it will be a closed demo, so I'm not just publishing for everyone. Just because I don't want just to put on my website and people start downloading and they think that this is the final game, or almost alpha or beta or things like that. But for people from Discord, they understand that they are following the development and this is just test, you know, and that's all. Okay, Miguel, see you. Good luck with your calls. I hope you are doing something today, not just swing calls. So let's try to add some variation here. Something dirty will be probably 64, something big, and then what I want to do is just blending both of them, which is probably blend screen or overlay probably. Let's try something like that, and this one should be SE, I think, or well, this one could be have some detail, and then in that case need to go to this like more, I think. So it will start compiling again a lot of shaders. Let's see what is happening with this. Yeah. Start again 700. Let's change the material for the terrain. It's fine. So I was just trying to improve about the shaders complexity, the cool distance for them, adding all loads, really reducing a lot about the trees, reducing about the grass and vegetation, because foliage is something that really breaking a lot, and then reducing also the river, reducing all the lights, and there is not much that I can already do. And for example, all the textures that I'm using, this is one for wood, and this is the same one, and this is another one. So I have only two different good materials, and they are one key. And what I'm doing is just using decals or things like that. So it's just repeating to have some detail. So in the end, I have a bunch of textures only that I'm repeating all the time, and adding a few of decals. For example, here also I have one for plaster, one for the wood, and then I'm just adding a few decals, so I'm not really creating a big texture for houses. So the houses are using the same textures, are all the props. So this is something, oops, I see what the problem is. And also we need to have is not just blending but also reducing the, first I need to change this one to something bigger. So probably something like that. And what we need to use is using also this export float. This will be true. So this volume that I want to be true. So I'm using also the alpha map because I want to use the alpha map, and in that case what I need to do is just multiply, I think, by this alpha map. So this is well, in that case it's just coming here. I can use lerp, I think, lerp, and in this lerp I will use so this is one of the textures, and this is another one that I'm using. So this is one is going here, and then I need to, I think I need to break this one, or I need to use sample texture. Should be here the fourth one, I think. So I could break this one and use as alpha, I'm not sure. So in that case I think it's coming here for this zeta, so I could just mask. I think this is a mask, and I can use this alpha here, and this is the one I'm using for this one. If it's working well, if not I will need to add this non-static texture object but sample object, and then using this alpha map. But I think this is fine at the moment. So should be something like that. So I'm using also all the textures are the same, so the pool is really small and texture streaming is also fast. For example, all of them are really small textures, one key for all of them. All around the game is one key only, so I'm not using big one. The only one is this one for the terrain is one key, 4 key. That is the only texture that is bigger. All the rest are only one key for all of them, even all the model things, clothes, everything like that is one key. Also to reduce texture streaming and pull memory for textures, and yeah, and everything. A few things that are more complex I was doing in C++, the rest of them are just doing on okay, more or less it's working. But this is just introducing the dirty, and I don't want to have this white one. What I'm doing is just using this alpha but not really merging, so probably this blend screen should be kind of maybe overlay, or using as a base this one, and this is the blend one. And also I'm not sure about this the alpha channel working or not. I'm not really sure about this. I probably will use a bigger number here. This even bigger, like 1000, things like that. Go. It's just not even responding. Okay, it's just compiling again and again and again. I think I could just start on this node. Not much really that I can see. I'm about previewing this one, just to see how it works together instead of all of them together. So this is fine. This is the one that I'm using a bit dark, and I want to see what is happening with this one. That's the one that we are trying to merge later, even not having. So this is one of the problems that's just completely white. So I'm not sure why. This came from this one. This is coming from that one. So what about overlay? Blend overlay. And I will use this one here. And this one is going to the lerp. And I will delete this one, and I will start previewing this node to see if this is the one that I want. Since not, and for some reason it's not working. I don't know. Is it already working here? No. Anyway, it's just kind of trying to put together both textures, this dirt together with just the mood, and changing some scale for world position, so it's just applying not all together every time and the same, but being a bit different. And I need to find a way to this one, because the overlay seems also not being what I really need, or probably just using lerp, or adding, probably just adding, but in that case will be too bright, or multiplying. Yeah, probably just multiplying, and then use this alpha as multiplying also. Well, this is the last thing that I'm doing, because I already need to finish this streaming, and I think that I will do is multiply this value by this alpha, so it's just losing this one. And the another thing is just, this is the blend overlay, this is the blend overlay here, and this alpha is not working. Seems to me that it's not working, so I will just add a new sample texture, sample, okay, and this is the decal dirt, and I will use this one. That's the one that needs to be here. Oops, sorry, because the thing is I'm not previewing the one after already, this one. So let me see if this alpha is working. Since not, but this one is working, so I will just avoid this, and also this one. So this is the alpha, and then what I need to do is maybe not this overlay, but any other things like screen or any kind of blending that is working as expected. Probably darkening, and then this one, and then here. It's not really working. What doing the opposite one? This one going here, and this is the blend. So it's not really working. Okay, anyway, that's the idea, adding just a few things here to have the details over my terrain texture. Okay, so anyway, I will finish here. Hope you enjoyed the streaming. See you next day. I will stream tomorrow as every day. I'm streaming every single day at the same time. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to try the demo, just contact me on this Discord channel, and I will just provide an account for you to do that. Thank you everyone for coming. See you tomorrow.